coming off of the franchise's biggest win of the decade, if not since Tom Brady took his talents to Tampa. The New England Patriots go marching into New Orleans, one of the great cities of the world, to take on the upstart plucky Saints at the freshly facelifted and recently renovated Caesars Superdome. Should be a very fun game, but the question on the table is, can the Patriots avoid a letdown, or, as many people like to say in the wide world of cliches, trap game? Your old pals Mego and Fitzy are here to preview the game and tell you why that's not going to be, as we laissez les bon temps rouler on the latest six rings in football things. Here we go.
Hey, whatever it takes, man. It's all about winning, all right? Winning on three. 1, 2, 3, win!
Celebrating the heroes of Foxborough's past.
And with a good block. Look at Grover. All the way. Watch the block of number 73, John Hanna.
The champions of the dynastic era.
Adam Vinatieri booms a 48-yard field goal, and the Patriots are Super Bowl champions.
The Patriots of tomorrow.
We're going to remove entitlement from our football team. We're going to earn the right to be here every single day.
And the fans whose faith never wavers. This is Six Rings and Football Things.
I think it's super important that we flip the page, considering the New Orleans Saints is a really good football team. I know the record might not show it, but they're very skillful up front and in the back end. And to be honest, it might be a bigger test than last week, just as far as like having success and being able to replicate that process, or do it all over again, and work equally as hard, and attention to detail and focus, because this opponent, I know their record doesn't say it, but that's a good football team, and they've been in one-score games plenty of times, and I don't expect it to be no different. We got to go in there with the right mindset.
That is Stephon Diggs at his locker on the Wednesday media avail earlier this week, which you probably heard if you listened to WEEI during the week, surfaced by our old pal Megan Ottolini, the legend of Mego, here joining us on the latest Six Rings and Football Things. And, of course, at Fitzy GFY here on the helm as we record live on a Friday morning across the Fitzy GFY and WEEI socials as well. Mego, first, since we haven't had a chance to chat during the week, just your thoughts, a quick takeaway on last Sunday night's game, how impressive that was. I think both of us, when we talked to Sal Capaccio from Buffalo, and it's always game day in Buffalo, we agreed that it would be a good barometer game to see if they belonged on the field with the Bills. But both of us picked the Bills to win. Egg on our face. Spoiler, it didn't work out for us. But actually it did, because the Pats won and kind of put on their big boy football pants last Sunday.
Oh, yeah. Patriots shocked the Bills, and it was without a doubt the best win of the decade. Like, I know people are going back to the Tom Brady years and saying it's the best win since Tom Brady left. I think I would mostly agree with that. I haven't gone exactly game by game, but it was certainly a statement-making game. And I'm sure you guys talked about it all week on WEEI afternoon, so I don't want to rehash too much of it. I just think that what the most interesting question to me now, as you look forward, not just to the Saints, but to the Titans and the Browns and this slate of what should be really favorable matchups for you, is it better to feel like, okay, you're riding high and take that energy and the momentum and the belief that you have in one another after such a big win in Sunday Night Football on the national stage and carry that with you? Or just look at it and go, well, that game has nothing to do. Kind of Vrabel mentality of wiping the slate clean and saying, we celebrated that for 24 hours, but you got to turn the page no matter what. And I think that's more the approach that they're taking from talking to guys in the locker room.
It is a curious stance that Mike Vrabel takes, that every Wednesday, it is officially Turn the Page Wednesday with Vrabel and the Patriots media cartel. And he doesn't want any questions asked about the prior game, doesn't want to reflect or step back and live.
Unless it's about officiating at the line of scrimmage.
Right. If it's about a random call or something like that, maybe he will entertain. But otherwise, it's all forward looking. But I won't say hypocrisy, but the curiosity for me in there is, well, coach, we have to kind of look back to prior games of the opponent, because that's all we know of them to set expectations or calibrate a proper preview. I know you don't want to live in your past. I think he's just afraid of the team either, bathing in its own glory or reading their own clippings and headlines. And he wants to basically make sure they have 17 one-game seasons, as opposed to games that could bleed into and carry on into the next one. And I think that's probably the right mentality, but I think he may have to tweak and adjust over the course of the season. And of course, we play that Stephon Diggs audio as we come in from the locker on Wednesday. I thought that was terrific to hear. Now, it's the right thing to say, but if Diggs is correct, coming off of his best game of the season, his best game, I think, honestly, in years, obviously highly motivated, very emotional back where he used to play and made a name for himself in Buffalo, but he was their emotional core, and he was a driving force in that shocking 23-20 victory. And now he seems, in my estimation, he has grabbed the mantle of leadership and inspirational force on this team, and he's not letting it go until they get to wherever they want to go or until the season wraps up. I'm so damn impressed by what he's done thus far. Mego, how about you?
I gotta say, it's like a little bit of what I expected when they signed him as a free agent. I know there was so much skepticism because we've seen how he's interacted at times with guys like Josh Allen on the sideline, who then he was so emphatic about, "That's my dog, that's my guy," after that win and before the win. Uh, Like I just think that he was always gonna be the kinda guy who was gonna work really hard and try to keep himself elevated, if not just for his own career, to prove that he still has it at 31 years old coming off an ACL. I think what surprised me the most is just how smart he is out there. Like, I don't mean like I ever thought that he was a dummy or like he wasn't smart, but I think we haven't had like such an incredibly precise, smart weapon for a quarterback here in years and years and years. Like somebody who just seems to always not just be where they're supposed to be in their route running and be where they're supposed to be in the play design, but then also adjusts on the fly. And you heard Drake May talk to you guys about that in his appearance on your afternoon show on Monday, like that he can in real time just make the change that the quarterback needs. And so it's like this combination that's really exciting, I think, between him and Drake, where Steph is so smart. He knows where he's supposed to be in Josh McDaniel's system, but he also knows what the quarterback is expecting and in a big bang play, like where the quarterback needs him to be on the field and is able to adjust. That's just a different level when we talk about like, oh, number one receiver. Oh, is it a top 10 receiver? Well, that just is something that is a combination of like innate ability and then his experience in the league. And I think it changes so much, not for just for the offense, but for what Drake can do.
Yeah, you saw last Sunday, Buffalo tried to man him up at times and play him in a zone, and he is a zone eater. God, he does understand where the soft spots and where the openings are. He knows where to sit down, and his body control, his balance. I gotta say honestly, like that catch on the sideline where he's leaning out, 3/4 of his body is already out of bounds basically by the time May zips one into his body, but he just puts the perfect amount of toe drag swag down to get the catch in the first down. And I'll say it right now, and I know I'm prone to hot takes and Foxborough fandom and hyperbole galore, but I think the recess playground play that they made, the 33-yarder that set up the touchdown, which everyone went goo and gaga over Sunday night, Monday, Tuesday in the Drake mania of the week. That's the pass and the play of the year to me. Like for the Patriots, maybe in the NFL, like that was such a great play. We haven't just seen a quarterback and receiver or any offensive player in the Pat system since Tom Brady just be on the same page so much. And that's what I wanted to see this year. Drake lock in, to the neuro link with Josh McDaniels and then find a receiver or a playmaker and then just create that connection. And now you have to think other defenses, like people have said in our live chat here, Mego. Now there's actually an offensive playmaker that has to be accounted for in all plays. Now there's somebody for defenses to constantly worry about. And it'll be on display Sunday against the Saints defense that does give up chunk yardage under defensive coordinator Brandon Staley.
This is what I'm so excited about this Saints defense. It's two-prong, and we'll start with the Steph Diggs part because you may look at that game and go, that's a 146-yard performance against his ex-girlfriend, basically. Like I don't think that's going to be replicated. Well, maybe not to that extent, but one of the things that I asked Stephon about at his locker was how he's able to make those adjustments in real time, and if that comes from experience, or if, is that something he'd be able to do 7 years ago, or is that something that just comes through experience in the league? And he said a lot of it has to do with playing these zone defenses. And when you look
Mhm.
at what Brandon Staley did out with the Chargers and what he's seemingly bringing to New Orleans is that zone defense, that zone coverage. And so even though you got to believe that Stephon Diggs is on everybody's radar now, and like he's going to be the number one
Mhm.
bullet point in whatever scouting report you're giving for this offense, if you play his own defense, he's going to eat.
Yeah.
We keep talking about plates and can he handle what's on his plate, and he doesn't want to leave crumbs. I don't think he's going to leave crumbs Sunday. I think he's going to eat up this defense. The other side is their run defense. Like, we're all very concerned about the Patriots run game. Their run defense is not great. Their run defense is 20th in yards allowed per rush. So I think that maybe this is a little bit of a figure it out for game for your running back group, even without Antonio Gibson out there.
Right, who's out for the season as well. I mean, how many times in a row, though, can we say, "Oh, this might be the right week to get Travion Henderson going, Mego.
Well, you
This
don't
could
have
be his
much of a
breakout game."
choice now.
Yeah, it's really just Mondre and Travion. Like, that's all you got. They signed some guy from the Falcons practice squad to the roster, but I don't know who this guy is. I don't know, what kind of role he's going to have. And quite frankly, I think the only way that they upgrade eventually, as they will need a third running back, I think they'll need some sort of playmaker with a similar skill set to Gibson, because he seemed like such a good fit in the McDaniels offense as well. So I listened to a bit of the All 32 podcast with Mike Giardi and Nick Underhill from New Orleans Football, who was a previous guest on Six Rings a couple years ago. And Nick Underhill was saying that basically Brandon Staley doesn't adapt and doesn't change his defense. He believes in
Awesome.
his system. Yeah, like what he does
Love
is
that.
like, here's my defense, and you guys beat it. And so you probably won't see the Patriots get a lot of big yardage. When I say chunk yardage, they should look forward to 6, 8, and 10-yard gains. And his whole theory is we don't give up 30, 40, 50, 60-yard plays. But what Nick Underhill and the Saints media find so infuriating is, yeah, but teams can score on you guys because you give up 8, 6, 7, 8, 8, 8.
Yeah, does
So
he realize that they have multiple opportunities to get that first down?
yeah. No, seriously, like this would be such a great game for Drake and Josh to like pick apart this defense and just stay on the field and run and play action and a quick out over here and Steph Diggs sitting down over there for a first down. Tight ends may do very well. I'm going to be rooting personally more for Hunter Henry than Austin Hooper this week, just because I think Hunter Henry really is showing signs of somehow at the age of 31 now, upping his game to legitimate NFL-wide TE1 status as well. I don't know who else exactly I would be looking for to break out offensively. We keep saying like, oh, is this the week Efton Chisholm finally gets a start? Or, will they finally look to Kyle Williams this week? But if what's working for you continues working for you, if it ain't broke, Mego, why are we going to try and fix it?
I'm really excited to see more Kayshon Boutte. Obviously, he had a big individual performance in week 1 against the Raiders. And we were like, oh, okay, wow, is Boutte going to be the number 1 receiver? Is this a depth chart that we didn't quite expect? We started off the summer with a conversation about whether it was going to be Kayshon Boutte or Kendrick Bourne, who was eventually going to be released by the team.
Oh my God.
I think
look what he's doing. I know. Look what he's doing. I'm very happy. I just want to say I'm not going to play the how come we can't get those guys, but like I'm very happy for Kendrick Bourne that he is reborn, if you will, in San Francisco.
Well, I think what excites me about Boutte is last game you talked about having the 2 feet in from Diggs and that kind of detail oriented, like crazy in the moment play. I think Boutte is obviously a different level receiver, but the progress he's showing in his attention to details and getting in bounds, when you have to keep the clock going in order, like these situational plays that I think he's always been a guy who's been such a superb athlete and has that potential, like where
Right.
you look at him and you're like, God, like he can make that catch. That's crazy. And he's bigger than some of the other guys on the depth chart there in that room. But now he has the situational awareness. Like he's
Mhm.
just growing smarter and smarter through his reps on the field. So I think when you look at the depth chart, like Hunter Henry is your super dependable binky guy. You got
Mhm.
Stephon Diggs as your number one receiver.
Yep.
And I really like what they're doing, putting him in the slot. You got Matt Collins as a red zone
He'll
threat.
get his one big target
Yeah, he'll
and do a
probably
lot
get a
do a lot of
touchdown.
blocking.
But I think Booty is really primed to be the guy who gets a little more out there. I think that
Yeah.
I think it just is a matter of what they're giving you. And again, I wouldn't be surprised if this is the kind of game where um, Steph eats a lot again, and you are trying to get the running game going, and that's something that they've talked about this week. They know that they have to get the running game going because they're 27th or 28th, depending on what stats you're looking at. So I don't know if this is necessarily the game where you're like, oh, Kayshon Boutte, put it down for a touchdown and 80 yards or something like that. But I think that over the course of this season, he's the guy that I'm looking at.
And on defense, on the other side of the ball, Patriots played a great game in Buffalo. One of the talking points we had during the week, and I still sort of, am batting around in my mind, was how much of last Sunday was the Patriots winning that game versus how much was Buffalo not playing their best. And I think Buffalo really did. Honestly, like, yeah, they shot themselves in the foot a little bit with some ball security issues, but they were game. They knew what an important game that was, not only just for themselves, but also for the Patriots. They don't want the Patriots a game behind them. They don't want to race in the AFC East. They want to just basically be able to go box to wire, get the number one seed, and finally fulfill their Lombardi dreams. The Pats took the fight to the Bills last Sunday and came out on the other side, the winner. And I'm sure Buffalo rebounds this week, even though they'll be against the defensively tenacious Falcons. As far as the Patriots on offense, played great, like we talked about. The Meta Diggs connection's great. And yes, it would be great to see the running game get going. On defense, though, I got to say, Patriots defense is really rounding into shape. And before we get into some potential back end concerns, let's hear from our old pal, Christian Barmore, on who really has helped elevate his game and the front side of the D.
It's amazing because we always say, like, somebody they gonna have to choose one, like who you gonna slide to, and whoever one we get, we gotta win.
Who are they gonna hold?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Who they gonna hold? You know what I'm saying? And it's just been really good, man. Because that guy, like he's a hell of a player, and just we got a lot of guys, him, Tunga, you know what I'm saying, Josh, and it's a lot of guys on this front seven. It's just doing our part, and it's just it's just about we just dogs, we just keep going hard, just keep being grounded every day.
Milton Williams. First of all, I could listen to Christian Barmore talk forever ad nauseum infinitum. Like, the dude is just a soundbite machine. When he's healthy, he's right. He's a joy factory and a badass on the football field. But Mego, Milton Williams has answered the bell, answered the call, lived up to the reputation, surpassed the contract, for me at least, thus far this season. Oh, is he going to be able to play more than the 49% snaps he played in Philadelphia? Philadelphia's defense, even with Carter and Davis and company and Baum and everyone else, like, they miss him terribly. And the Patriots are reaping the benefits. He's playing like 2 out of like 70% of the snaps, getting pressure all the time. And he and Barmore are forming a legitimate two-man wrecking crew.
Yeah, I think that going into the season, I think a lot of us looked at the money that they were spending on the defensive line and going like, well, they better be something formidable, because that's some serious cash. And it's not just with Milton Williams, because Christian Barmore got paid and then had a serious health situation with blood clots last year. And so you were basically banking on the back half of a season 2 seasons ago. And so it's really nice to see him round into form. I think that it's great that now they have that part of the defense that looks, borderline elite, and that you can kind of lean on, because I think it's pretty clear they're still trying to figure some stuff out at linebacker. And as you're kind of teasing there's a question again of Christian Gonzalez and what's going on with the hamstring there. He was limited at practice yesterday.
Yeah, what is going on? Like, some people are talking in the chat right now about how there were some DNPs and limitations at practice. Like, look, you're like, no one, that they have Kamara, who can still ball out. And I know he's like my dream trade target for the Patriots if the Saints fall out of it and they find somebody to replace Gibson and take the because he's not gonna get resigned most likely by the Saints as well, as Kendre Miller sort of like becomes RB1 for them. You got Rashid Shaheed, and Chris, like the ghost of Chris Olave, like not a ton to throw fear in the heart. But the Rattlers actually playing pretty well. And Kellen Moore, head coach, also de facto offensive coordinator, is a great football mind, offensively speaking, and doing a nice job. This isn't a Saints offense that, oh no, watch out, or they could put up 40 on us. But at the same time, like, don't let them pick up momentum. Don't let them get in this game and believe in themselves. You want the defense to snuff and suppress early. But if they're banged up on the back end as well, like if you don't get Christian Gonzalez, we've seen just how much better this defense is over the past 2 games with Gonzo in the lineup.
So this is what my read on what happened with Gonzo yesterday is, at least to our knowledge, is that we as the media get, 15 minutes maybe of a window to see a practice, and it's usually a lot of stretching, maybe some individual drills, maybe we get to see them work on ball security, stuff like that. Not a ton of like at speed stuff or like team at this point in the season. Get to see like what schemes they're working on or what the scout team or anything like that is showing and how they're responding to it. So Gonzalez was working primarily on the lower field. And after the fact, Justin Hamilton, the cornerbacks coach, said, well, that's a plan that he has with both Vrabel and the training staff.
Yes.
And so what you guys see early in practice, which is a lot of warming up, which is a lot of special team stuff, individual stuff, that's a portion that I guess for this random Thursday, yesterday, he was taking to do his own kind of exercises so that he can get up to speed for the more at speed stuff in practice. That's paraphrasing what they said yesterday. It's just a little odd because it seems to be different than what he was doing last week. So whether you think
Which
that's
I'm fine
because
with.
Right. So if you think this is them going, hey, let's pull it back a little bit because it took this guy the 2 whole months to get back from the hamstring injury over the summer. Let's put in a plan in place so that this doesn't happen again. Or if you think maybe he tweaked a little something, so they're pulling him back. We don't have enough information yet. That's just what they're telling us, that this was a planned thing. For whatever reason, the plan was enacted yesterday.
We always hear about trust the process, or is there a playoff path? If this year's running line with the Pats is he's on a plan, fine. I am so okay. For years and years and years, and this will be a Bill Belichick, University of North Carolina free podcast. I'm not going down that wormhole, and I'm not playing in that mud by any stretch, if that's okay by you.
Sure.
Of course. But that said, Belichick tried to treat everyone equally, as in, I'll treat you all like hot garbage, and then you guys will just have to respond and prove me wrong. Not just the media, obviously. I'm talking about the players. There really wasn't any special or star treatment that we knew of. In this particular case, with Christian Gonzalez, I don't care. Please, by all means, treat him like a superstar. Give him the diva anti-receiver treatment. Like, you need him that badly, and he eventually will get that $30 to $35 million deal. It'll be earned and deserved, and that's a Kraft, Vrabel, Stretch, and Wolf project to be determined at a later date. But right now, you saw how long it took for him to come back. Vrabel even said he probably could have played week 3. I chose to hold him out because I want him back at full strength. And if this is what they need to do to ensure his health and make sure he's in the lineup with how important he is, generating pressure up front, and then not having anybody to throw to, that's it. That's the secret for defensive continuity and success against any opponent, whether you're in the Superdome, Gillette, Nashville, or beyond.
Yeah, I agree. I think the question is just why yesterday? Was there something different in the schedule of practice yesterday that accounted for that? Why was it yesterday? I think that's like the only I guess I wouldn't even say like cynical perspective that I have, but question that I have about, hey, is this something more? Is this something that is actually preventative or something that we have to be concerned about? That'd be my only question there. But I also think we need to give a shout out to one Marcus Jones, because he's somebody who I think we kind of forgot at times when he was lost to injury, like what a complete momentum changer he is. And I think about what you said with the game on Sunday, and I don't want to keep going back to it because, like Vrabel, I want to look ahead and turn the page. But it was a significant game, and when you said, "Hey, did the Bills like really just hurt themselves by playing so sloppily and underestimating the Patriots, or did the Patriots come in and take that? And I think plays that when you have somebody like Marcus Jones, who has the ability either on special teams as a punt returner or the INT that he had, like, I think he's the kind of player that we get so fixated on Gonzo because we think of him as the lockdown corner and the back-to-back coverage plays that he made that really sealed the deal at that game. We think about somebody like Milton Williams, who has the big contract and locked it down in the Miami game. Like, Marcus Jones is somebody who just kind of as a captain quietly goes about his business and then makes these enormous plays.
Oh, he's great.
And I don't think we can keep talking about him as somebody who it's like, well, any given Sunday, there's a fluky play by Marcus Jones. Like,
They're not fluky.
No, he's just really good.
Yeah.
Like, he's a really good player, and I think he deserves a little mention.
We have the pleasure of talking to him every Patriots Monday on WEEI alongside your quarterback, Drake May, as well. Marcus Jones, I've been obviously on Six Rings years ago, Andy Hart and I lobbied for Marcus Jones to get offensive plays, and look what happened the first time he got an offensive snap. He took it to the house in 2022 against Buffalo, no less. However, I think his others have said he's an okay slot corner. His defense is fine, but he's a much better special teams player or utility weapon. And I have disagreed for the longest time. I remember in 2022, the Raiders game, he locked up Devontae Adams. Of course, everyone remembers that Raiders game for a different reason or a series of reasons. But he's a very good player. And if Carlton Davis can do well enough and stay on the field, if Christian Gonzalez is back there, these are big, tall cornerbacks to be accounted for. Plus, you're getting better than advertised safety play from Hawkins. Craig Woodson, who got some love this week from Devin McCourty as well. This frees up somebody like Marcus Jones to be a playmaker. He's super fast. He's tougher than you think for a guy who's only 5'9". He's a really good tackler. That was always a hallmark of Belichick secondaries. Your cornerbacks need to be excellent tacklers. The Logan Ryans, Aqib Talibs, Ty Laws, they were all super good tacklers. He's great. And then, of course, he's an absolute factor on special teams. You're not going to see a lot of people punting to him the rest of the way. And if they do, it's a mistake or watch out. And somewhere Jeremy Springer and Mike Vrabel may be running up the sidelines, jumping, jamming, and high-fiving as well.
Jeremy Springer with the quote of the week. I don't know if you saw it, but I like breathing.
He's awesome. I love that guy.
I can't remember who it was. Somebody was asking about like breathing techniques that kickers and other people in high situation on special teams use. And he was like, yeah, I mean, I like breathing. He's trying to say, I like meditation and all of those exercises, but I'm really not involved with that with guys on an individual level. But just the start of, I like breathing.
I like breathing. And shout out, by the way, Aurora Borealis for absolutely blasting the game-winning kick last week. That thing was good from 72. Good for, like, I asked Adam Schefter about this a little bit this week and Tom Curran about, were you surprised at Mike Vrabel's coaching style? It's way less hardo. It's way less hard ass. It's a bit more contemporary. He's in tune with their feelings. He's positive, encouraging. It's less like, oh, you fumbled, you screwed up. Oh, you missed a kick. Kick rocks, jackass. You're out of here. Or like pound sand and ride some pine for a while. It's more like, all right, let's figure out why we did this. We're going to need you at some point. He talks these guys up, and players like Ramondre and Borealis and others are rewarding him for the faith. That was an awesome kick, and let's hope he's just banging through lots of extra points this week. All right, Mego, we're just coming up close to the half-hour mark. It's almost time to wrap up Six Rings preview and Pats at Saints. What do you got for a score prediction there, fella?
Okay, I feel like, I don't know why you called me fella, but I'll go with lady. I
should have said buddy. I don't know why buddy didn't come out.
I keep giving like the same kind of scores for the Patriots, but it's just what I expect from their offense week to week at this point, because Drake May is playing so well, which is so weird. We've gone through so much of the podcast barely talking about Drake because there are all these other factors. You can get Drake May every day, everywhere else. I would say Patriots 27, Saints 7. I think this is a big party for the defense. I think
Holy
it's a big party
smokes.
for the defense. I think this is going to be closer to a Carolina kind of game. I'm not saying like,
when the Pats come marching in, you'll want to be there for that Barmore when the Pats go marching. Wow, Pats 27, Saints.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, honestly, that would be I have them winning and covering as well. Once again, the Patriots are 3.5-point favorites, making their way down there. You can read Mego's column at weei.com as to why this is not a letdown game. And I believe your sort of operating theory is not like so much of the team, like they're good enough to avoid this. Rather, they haven't really earned the trap game or letdown game status.
Yeah, I love the matchup for them. I really do.
Obviously, you got them winning by 20 and only giving up a tutty.
There's a couple reasons why I think I would never categorize this as a trap game. One is like if this is a trap game, they have a trap schedule, Fitzy. Like they have so
because
many.
It's just a red carpet of 1 and 4s the rest of the way. My God.
Kind of, yeah. And so the other side of that is that I don't think the Patriots are quite considered a team that can be trapped yet. Like they're not the king in the mountain kicking all the losers down off the mountain. They're still climbing up the mountain. And so you can say like, yeah, they're favored in this game and they should be favored in the next several games, mostly in part because of their quarterback more than the records of these teams. These teams don't have quarterbacks and you have what looks like a really great quarterback. And so I think you should be favored. I just don't think that they're in a position where it's like, uh-oh, this team's going to surprise them. This team's going to surprise them. We're all still figuring out, and this team in the locker room too, still figuring out exactly who they are and how good they are.
Oh, there's some identity surfacing to be done for sure. And consistency needs to be key. Again, that's why I love Steph Diggs, not just being a dog pregame, in-game, postgame last week, and in the locker room as well.
And on the field,
yeah, and like literally and barking at the fans, but then showing them some love in Buffalo because they helped elevate his game, his status, his rep, etc. Also, Keyshawn Booty, we might want to walk back the IG lives in the locker room. Just let's not create too many frenemies before the season has reached the halfway mark. But that said, yeah, if the Patriots are a team that didn't just surprise Buffalo and catch them off guard, but rather a good team that belongs on the same field as them or any other competitor or foe in the AFC, NFL at large, then what you do is go to New Orleans this week and take care of business, win the game. It shouldn't be that close, but don't ever let them in the game. You should go box to wire, and then you should go to Nashville the next week. Take care of business. You should go home, have a grind out game against the Browns, but win that as well. And next thing you know, holy smokes, are the Patriots 6-2? WTF? And then we'll be watching the sports network going, are the New England, get up, it's time. Are the Patriots Super Bowl contenders? We'll find out. It's ESPN. I can't wait for all that. But it's one game at a time right now. I see the Saints being kind of plucky early, Patriots getting things going, possibly a defensive touchdown, and then like a late, easy score for the Saints. I'll go Patriots 31, lay Saints 20.
20. All right.
The Pats have been giving up an average of around 20 points on the season as well.
That's why I think, though, that this is, I mean, you might be right with that late touchdown or whatever that comes in kind of garbage time that I don't really think should count against the defense's averages but on the season. But I don't know. I think we're due, like, if Gonzo is healthy enough to go, to really see what this defense is. Like, we've seen now, it's so unusual that the offense is kind of the most dependable part of the team when they're not giving up 5 turnovers, which, by the way, is one very scary little thing. Of course, the Saints had 5 takeaways from the Giants last week. So
the Giants just spit the bit and then turn around and kick the ass of the Eagles on Thursday Night Football.
It is a team that will like show some disguises and that Drake will have to be smart about, because he could have a silly play here or there. They could punch the ball out from Ramondre or anybody else who's the ball carrier. Like, that's definitely something to be concerned about. I just think that the defense has got to like have their own debutante ball, like Drake had last week.
Yep, this would be a great week for that as well. And for the degenerates listening, like, hey, Fitz, any action, any scratch you want to tell me about? I'm thinking this week, because Drake May has made a point of talking about got to get the ball to Steph, and then back-to-back weeks, 10 receptions. Now he's talking about trying to get him in the end zone and get him his first touchdown in New England. I like the anytime touchdown this week for Steph Diggs.
It'd be fun. I think that he's kind of like doing all the dirty work.
Yep.
You know, and then not getting the touchdown. So.
And now he deserves the reward as well. All right, this has been your latest 6 Rings in Football Things, brought to you by WEEI Odyssey and 2400 Sports. Thank you guys for watching live on a Friday morning. Appreciate all of you who listen on the Odyssey app or subscribe via Apple Pods, Spotify, and anywhere else awesome football talk is found. Be a fan. Follow my favorite football fella, LOL, Megan Ottolini. She is at, I don't know why I said that. I have no idea. No, now I'm repeating it to mock myself. At Megan _Ottolini. You're on the radio on Sunday on the big preview show?
I am, and I'll have my column right after the game on WEI.com.
And we have a way too long post-game show as well, so I might need you to call in and check in with us.
Sounds good.
Help us fill for time. And of course, your old pal at Fitzy GFY here. We'll have Josh McDaniels at 2:15 today, live on WEI Afternoons, and Mike Giardi, the Giardi Patty, at 3:30 for all of you football fiends from Foxborough as well. Thanks for listening, everybody. Have a great weekend. Let's go.